learning the principles, and I was trying to understand. I was working with a client who was very scared of death, and so I was trying to understand what the principles would let me do with that client to help them with their fear of death. And all I could come up with is, well, if you don't think about it, you're not going to feel bad. And that felt a little lame, but it kind of helped. Like, he actually cheered up. He was like, oh, okay, I can do that. I can not think about it so much. And I went to Sandy Crop, and I asked her, I said, what would you say to a client? And she said, well, I would say you don't have to think about that. I wrote it down in my notebook, and I went, no, that's what I said, yeah. And I came back, and I wasn't happy. I didn't like that answer. So I went back to her, and I said, look, I've been thinking about that. There's got to be something better than you don't have to think about that. She said, I didn't say that. I said, yeah, you did. Look, it's in my notes. She said, well, I don't care that it's in your notes. I didn't say it. I said, well, what did you say? She said, you don't have to think that. And somehow those 6 words blew my head open. Because I suddenly realized, just at a deeper level, it's all made up of thought. And if I think it this way, it looks like this. And if I think it that way, it looks like that. And there's not this thing, death, that I'm thinking about. This thing, death, is made up of thought. There isn't a thing, death. It's all thought. And my world started to dissolve, and it was terrifying. And then, this is, metaphoric, but it's what it looked like to me at the time. Then suddenly in this, as my reality started going, getting all Scooby-Doo on me, right? These 3 things remained solid in the background. The fact of thought, the fact of consciousness, and the fact of mind. The fact of a spiritual source, the fact of this capacity to create, and the fact of awareness. And for me, that was enough. I could cling to those rocks. And I could allow reality to form and transform and reform and change all around me without being terrified anymore. Because I had a place to stand. And so it's not a real ground, but it's a grounding that you can stand firm on. It's a foundation that will not move, even when your entire reality is moving off that foundation. Just the understanding of a spiritual source, a capacity for awareness, and this creative gift of thought.